Okay, we are getting ready to get started. Making sure that this is all good to go. All right, is everyone in person ready to go? Everyone working? Does it look like it's working? All right. Well, hello, and thank you so much for joining us. For those who have come in person and those who are joining us online, I am Lexi McCausland. I am the Resident Council Mayor. And this is our spring forum, and we have 2 of these a year where we just get to hear directly from residents about any concerns or questions that they may have, and they get to talk with us, they get to talk with administration about all of that. So also thank you to Jen and Valerie who have taken time out of their busy schedules to be here with us. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about what Resident Council does and what we've been focusing on, particularly past 6 months since our previous fall forum that we had. And the one that we did before that, a bit of focus for us had been security and security challenges, and we were able to meet with the security providers and supervisors for the campus, and they were able to make changes, and we saw a huge improvement. We were following the crime statistics every month and saw a large improvement there. We were able to do a walk in the dark and walk through the community and identify areas of potential safety concerns. And then we were just able to follow up with different resident concerns and plan a lot of spring programming. So those are just various areas that we work on as the Resident Council. And then I would love to pass it over to the rest of the council to kind of introduce themselves and what they do. And then we can go ahead and get started. And John, if you want to just go down the line.
Yeah. And I'll unmute mine. Can people hear me okay? Okay. Yeah, my name's John. I'm the campus liaison. This year, I've been focusing mostly on getting supplementary budgets for activities for USA or for university student apartments. We've met our max at $3,500 for the year, but I'm sending in some more bills with hopes that we can get a little bit more funding as we've kind of expanded our programs and programming and activities post crazy COVID-ness. So that's kind of what I've been working on and hoping to get some more money so we can have more fun things. And that's what I'm doing.
My name's Annie Pond. I am the communications liaison. What I mainly work on is responding to the text line, updating the Facebook page, getting out the newsletter that we've implemented this year, and getting out our meeting minutes, and trying very hard to help you learn what we're doing, and be an open communication outlet for you to work with us. So feel free to use the text line at any time.
And then I'm Lindsay. I am the community liaison. I work with a lot of the coordinators and like the garden coordinator and the programming coordinator. And then I also I advocate for residential interests to administration. And yeah, so that's kind of what I do. Right now we have 2 big events that are coming up. We have the safety fair, the emergency preparedness fair. It's coming up on April 22nd. And then we also have a residential council sponsored garage sale that's coming up on May 14th.
Well, thank you guys so much. And just a general focus of this kind of whole year as our council has been just increasing communication, and we've been trying really hard. We've been putting out direct newsletters, putting out emails to try to solicit information and questions and feedback from the community, and we feel like it's been really positive. We've gotten a lot of just community feedback and questions and emails and people talking to us, which was always a hope, just to try to increase our presence and accessibility as the Resident Council. And I believe that's everything from the Resident Council for right now. So now we have specific questions that were submitted ahead of time, and we're going to address those first, mostly with the help of Ms. Jen with us. And then at the very end, we should have some time for any other questions that weren't submitted ahead of time that we can talk about. So please.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thanks to those of you that came in person. And hello to everybody online. I'm going to open with just a brief summary of what we're doing as far as construction in the West Village. We had a lot of questions about that. So for those of you that haven't seen this, just want to give you a brief overview of what we're building over here. So would you like to come around to my screen so that you can see? I was going to share a video and unfortunately the internet, I've got disabled screen sharing here. So I can't share it actually. Who is the host that could enable screen
Mariah,
sharing
can
for
you
me?
get Jen to be able to share something on the screen?
I will do my best to troubleshoot that, yes.
Let's see if it's gonna work. Not yet. Sorry, everybody.
Jen, while
Yeah.
you're doing that, I just realized that we skipped something on the residential, on the agenda.
Okay, so I'm gonna mute then and go ahead and let you speak.
Okay, while we're waiting for to figure screen sharing out, I just wanted to quickly say a few things about how we can how residents can get involved at university student apartments. I think there's a lot of opportunities for students to get involved. Every Friday, we have two different groups that meet. We have Cultural Fusion and Community Club. And both of those are a great way to meet people and to get involved, and to meet administration. Also meet some of the Cultural Fusion coordinator and also the programming coordinator. Your RAs plan monthly events, and that's a great way to meet people in your own court. It's a great way to meet your RA. I'm sure your RA would love help setting up for some of those events. And so it's really, it's a great way to get involved. Your RA would love to hear from you and would love to would like to put a face with a name. They'd love to get to know their residents in their court. So don't be afraid to reach out to your RA. The garden coordinator is really active during the summer. And gardening is actually a great way to meet some of your neighbors. You're really in close proximity to each other. And I've loved having a garden, and I get to meet a ton of new people through the gardening program. Another way to get involved is by running for residential council. Residential council has been an incredible opportunity just for me, because for me personally, because I'm able to get to know the administration on a more personal level, but I also can kind of see what some of the behind the scenes of like running what an amazing complex this is. And so running for residential council is a fantastic way of becoming more involved in the community. When there's openings for RAs, you can also apply for those. It's another great way to get involved. But yeah, so there's lots of opportunities. I know that administration, RAs, and residential council love to hear from residents. So yeah, that's what I got.
And I was actually just gonna pop on and add really quick that our resident council meetings are always open to residents as well. And we try to always post those ahead of time and share in email and in our newsletter when our resident council meetings are. So we love when we have residents that come attend, or just send me questions directly to the mayor, and I can always take them up there for you. So yeah, that's always another way to be involved and communicate with us or with the administration. And if you're ready to go, wonderful. I'm going to pass it over to Jen now to start talking about construction.
All right, I think we got it figured out so that I can pull up an image of the site. So we've got exciting stuff going on in the West Village. We have a $126 million construction project where we're building new family and graduate housing. There are about 285 family apartments being built, the north part of the site. And then there are 285 graduate beds, single graduate beds that are going on the south side of the site, adjacent to Sunnyside Avenue. So if you're looking at the bottom of the screen, that's Sunnyside Avenue. This court footprint over here is the 600 court. And then at Foothill Boulevard along here. When the housing opens next August 2023, the perimeter road that goes around the West Village will be open again. There'll be parking adjacent to the building on that east side. And at that time, the 300 and 600 courts that are still standing will have been demoed, and there's going to be surface parking lots in both of those areas for the new housing. There'll be about 150 stalls, 155 stalls along the perimeter of all of the buildings, and then we'll have additional stalls in the 300 and 600 court sites. In this large open space here, the courtyard in the family housing, we've got two nice playgrounds for children, some neat tricycle paths, covered picnic areas, barbecues. So it will hopefully feel cozy like our current courts do now. I think that was one of the biggest things we heard when we were getting feedback for the new build, for the new construction, is that individuals that lived here really appreciated the interior courts and how that helped contribute to community and community gatherings. So we will have a relatively large interior court in the family housing, and the grad building will have that interior court as well, but there won't be a child's playground in that area. So we did have one question come in about the availability of housing, how folks, if current residents are going to be able to get in. I would just say that decisions regarding the priority and eligibility for the new housing are being made right now. Those are being negotiated with administration. We have a framework for what we think should happen at student apartments, but we're part of a much larger housing network on campus. And so we do need to take those plans to administration for approval. And hopefully we'll have all of those decisions and more information about what's going to happen next August, next summer, before midsummer, before July for everybody. And we'll be communicating out all of that to our existing residents. So that's the answer to that one. The answer is we don't quite have an answer yet, but we're looking forward to letting people apply and get on the list to get into those units. We have had some folks ask if it's, a full replacement of the existing villages, and obviously with only 285 family units, it is not a full replacement of the family housing. We currently, even with the 300 and 600 coming down, we've got 907 family apartments right now, or I apologize. We have about 750 family apartments and about 150 apartments in the medical plaza. And so this will just be an increase at this point in the number of units that we've got, and definitely an increase in the number of single grad units that we have. We have 150 now, and we'll be going to about 280 beds in the new building, which is really where our strongest demand is for family and graduate housing, is on the single grad side. So that is and I apologize for not being able to share the drone video. It's not something I can download and send out. Unfortunately, this is provided by Jacobson Construction, just access for me, but anyone can make an appointment with me and stop by my office, and I'm happy to show you if you want to see the interior of the site, which is kind of hard to see from the fence line. So were you able to look at it on your phone? Okay, good. Sorry for moving you. I know. Okay. All right. Let me get to some of the other specific questions that we had sent in. First, address pet waste and emotional support animals. We had some comments about what individuals thought was maybe an increase in pet waste in the courts. And and an increase in emotional support animals, which I can confirm. We have seen an increase in the number of emotional support animals that we have at student apartments. Pets per se, with the exception of fish in aquariums that are less than 10 gallons, are not allowed at student apartments and any of our properties, but service and emotional support animals are allowed as permitted by state and federal law. So the Center for Disability and Access coordinates with student apartments to provide approval of any animals that we've got here. And those approvals are based on the American with Disabilities Act and the Fair Housing Act. So the policy that we have, you can look at that online in our resident handbook. Obviously these animals are required to be on leash or caged when outside of the apartments. So they also can't be left unattended. So outside. So I would just ask that if you're seeing your friends and neighbors violate those policies with their animals, we would love to hear from you. I think your RA would be interested in hearing from you, and they can share that information with us as well. We can't obviously be out policing all day or all night long, but we want to hear about those violations of policy, because obviously with the number of children running around and the interior court areas being used for children's playgrounds and for people to have picnics and sit outside, you don't want to be having to deal with somebody else's pet waste. So if you're seeing pet waste, what we would prefer is that you send in an email to apartments@utah.edu or talk to your RA, hopefully with some specific information. If you can describe the animal, that helps. If you know who the neighbor is, then you can let us know that. If we know who to call, who to reach out to, it's a much more effective way for us to deal with that than to just send ground crews to help clean up pet waste. We'd like to be able to stop the behavior. If there are repeat offenses, right? If we have the policy being broken multiple times, we have ways to address that. And Valerie Green, our Associate Director of Resident Life, definitely has the ability to work with the Center for Disability and Access to revoke the approval if we have a problem. So we just encourage you to share that information with us so that we can address it as it's happening, and hopefully you can share some specifics in your reports or your complaints. Anything else on that, Val? Is that okay? Next on the list, we had someone request exterior window cleaning, which I just think is a great idea. So we have hard water in Utah, and every time when irrigation starts, obviously the glass gets dirty, and the rain is hard as well. So we have looked at bids for exterior window cleaning in the past. We did the Medical Plaza this last year. It's very cost prohibitive. Obviously we've got a budget that we need to adhere to, but that doesn't mean that we can't take a look at it. So we're just in the budgeting process right now. And with spring here, I will have our facilities maintenance folks get a bid on what that looks like. Potentially we could do a phased cleaning rather than do it all at once, so that it doesn't cost quite so much all at one time. And I appreciate to whomever sent that comment and providing some contact information. I will reach out and we'll get some bids and see what we can do with that. I can completely relate. When I lived here, it was a bummer that the interior windows were clean, but the exterior windows were not. So it was hard to see out. Next specific question or comment that I've got, it sounds like someone was having a heat issue related to their boiler. And with that comment, the comments that I received, is it you? Yeah. Oh, great. Okay. Well, I've got the person here that I can address. I'll just, for everybody else's sake, if you do have a maintenance issue, obviously we want you to call maintenance, call in a work order. It sounds like if this is the boiler that I think it is in the 100 court, 200. Okay, so it might not be the boiler that I'm thinking it is. So I did look up work orders to see where we had some repeat complaints, and we had some in the 100 court. I called maintenance today, our trades folks, and it sounds like they've got a sticky valve in one of the boilers of one of those buildings that they've been working to address, and they think They have a plan to solve that problem tomorrow. But that may not be the same issue that you're trying to address. What I would ask, if you have repeat problems that are not getting fixed in what is a reasonable manner, and I think based on your complaint, that would be the number of times it's not working would be unreasonable, then I would ask that you reach out to me or administration specifically rather than just call the dispatch. They're going to put in a work order. That's their job, and assign that work order to someone. But I think if we're having continual problems like that, we want to address that from my side as well, right? Just so we can make sure we're making that a priority. So repeat maintenance issues, we want to hear about it. I want to hear about it for sure. So and sometimes that doesn't mean that I can flip a switch and fix it, but at least I can help put it to the top of the list of problems that we're facing. Sometimes folks just need help prioritizing their work, and I'm happy to do that.
Would you like us an email so you can either reach out to me or Valerie or Jen so we can follow up on this?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'll get that to you when we are done. Let's see. The next question or comment we received was about Wi-Fi access, and just clarifying for new move-ins the way to access the Wi-Fi. To whomever sent that comment in, I sincerely apologize if there was any miscommunication upon move-in about the way that you would need to access your Wi-Fi service. We have addressed this in the main office and the leasing office with those folks that do orientation, and we'll definitely try to be as clear as possible about what you're doing by purchasing a router and how you hook up to the internet after that router is purchased. The wonderful thing about our new housing is that we're going to have all new utility infrastructure. We won't be dealing with these strange hard lines and modems and routers that are foreign to this generation entirely. So just have Uconnect everywhere, and it will be lovely. Yeah, it'll just be fiber everywhere. So really sorry about that. We're thrilled we're not going to have to deal with that problem, but for this next while we are, for as long as we're keeping the east and west villages and med towers open. And so we have addressed that with our staff in the main office, and hopefully upon move-in we're making it clear about how people do that. The last comment that I received was about the elevator outage at the South Tower. Actually, the North Tower. I wrote South Tower on my paper, but it's the North Tower. The North Tower elevators have water damage that was identified in the last state elevator inspection. We have regular elevator inspections by both our ThyssenKrupp crew, who's the University of Utah's contracted with for all of their elevator maintenance, and by the state of Utah. There was some water damage found. One of the elevators was deemed to be safe. The other, they deemed that there was a safety issue and took it out of service. I have pushed back on that, but they have shown me based on their inspection notes and going up there to take a look at it. They've shown me why they consider it to be a safety issue. The reason I pushed back is because the parts to get that elevator fixed were about 8 weeks out. We've got supply chain issues for a lot of things right now, and elevator parts, or these particular parts that they need to fix that one elevator, are coming from overseas. And so my understanding, based on a check-in with ThyssenKrupp today, is that we should receive those parts in mid-April, and the elevator should be working by about the third week in April. I will communicate out to the towers if there is a delay on that, and I sincerely apologize for the closure, but it is for your safety, and we're just hoping we get them all back up and running again soon. We got another, I did receive an email on an elevator in the South Tower. I think there was elevator trouble because of the major power outage on Friday, but that elevator's come back up. We actually, that was a self-inflicted outage on the university's part. We hit a line as part of the Huntsman Cancer Institute's construction project up there. And there was a good portion of campus that was out on Friday for some hours, and it blew some things. So apologize for that as well. But whenever something like that happens, be assured that they're working on it as fast as they can, because we're not the only folks that are having trouble. But thank you for your patience with our maintenance concerns in these aging facilities. We're really trying hard to balance continuing to stay open and closing in a slow, phased way to try to help as many families with affordable housing that's in close proximity to the university as possible. And also the maintenance issues that come with buildings that were built in 1960 and 1970. And there's just only so much we can do with the utility infrastructure right now. But we're trying hard. So thank you for your patience with our maintenance staff. But at the same time, if the response isn't reasonable that you're getting related to maintenance concerns or the answers seem questionable or unreasonable, I really do want to hear about it so that we can try to make things right, because you are paying rent and we're your landlord, you know, and we want to try to be as supportive as possible and make this a great place to live, even though it's old. That's what I've got as far as formal questions, and I am happy to take any other questions from folks that are on the call or from you in person. Okay, the question is there going to be a sport animal area in the new buildings? I hope so. It's not going to be interior to the court. So we're still in design for the perimeter for the landscape design or landscape architecture around the perimeter of the buildings and near the parking lots. We do not want the pet area to be interior in the community space. So that hasn't been designed yet. It's not outlined yet, but Valerie and I are pushing for a space that's just for ESAs. Yeah.
You mean like a fenced in, like off leash area?
What's that?
That's for exterior, but inside the housing, we can't ESA area.
No, inside the housing, we can't have an ESA area. Right. It'd be exterior to the housing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. All right, everybody. So we haven't received any other additional questions or from anyone here. So thank you for everyone that has come and joined us. Thank you to Jen and Valerie for joining us and being here and supporting Resident Council and the residents with their questions. And that's everything. And please do remember, yes, that you can always email us as the Resident Council. You can always email Valerie and Jen and always communicate with us if there's concerns and questions. And we're just so happy to help or follow up on any of this. If you have further concerns or something isn't working out or you still have questions, please continue to communicate with us. We always want to know what's going on and how we can help. So thank you, everybody, for coming. And